Good morning, Cyprus. I hope you had a lovely weekend. So, we are going to look at the next section of the book. Now, what I'd like you to do is, to start with, I'd like you to have a go at reading this next chapter, okay? It's not the full chapter, it's just the start of the chapter. It's called My Planet Panda Pop, and it follows on from our last section that we read, which was about the incident in the Porsche garage. Okay, so I'd like you to pause it on each of the slides. Okay, have a look, read through that piece. If you've got someone at home with you who could read it with you, that would be great. Okay, if you found that tricky, you'd like to hear it together, here I'll read it to you now. If you feel really comfortable and happy with the way you've read that, then you can skip through this part of the video and go to the questions at the end. Okay, so My Planet Panda Pop. The school assembly incident was bad. The Porsche showroom incident was like being killed and sent back to level 1 with no spare lives. All we wanted, said Mum, was for you to learn some social skills. Social skills? Said Dad. Well, let's see. He got a little girl to pose as his daughter. He persuaded a salesman to lend him a Porsche. He's got social skills. He's got too many social skills. We asked him to learn some, and he learned too many. That's the problem. It turned out that Dad was right about visible friends being different to cyber friends. If someone doesn't turn up on Warcraft, you can always just recruit someone else. But when I walked through the New Strand shopping centre on Saturday mornings, even though there were thousands of people there, it was really noticeable that none of them was Florida. Mum got really stressed about the whole thing. Liam, she kept saying, what are we going to do with you? Dad looked on the internet for self-help groups for people with unusual problems. About an hour later, he came back and said, what about this? Popular coastal resort, Tunisia. £150 a head. Tunisia's a bit far, said Mum. I was hoping there'd be a group in the library. No, I'm talking about a holiday. That's what we need, isn't it? The three of us. Go somewhere no one knows us and just unwind. I was completely excited about this. I'd never been abroad before. I spent the whole week reading holiday brochures and even went with Mum and Dad to the travel agent, which was a disaster, because when I get completely excited, I talk too much. For instance, when Tunisia was mentioned, I said, yes, four-star accommodation, all meals, and we could go and see the Sahara Desert. Mum said, the Sahara Desert? You are joking. The Sahara Desert is a desert. People get lost in deserts. They starve to death and see mirages and get eaten alive by ants. Oh, no, 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 no. We're not going to a desert. The travel agent woman said, if you did choose the optional desert excursion, Mrs. Digby, you would be accompanied by our trained local staff in a fully air-conditioned coach. It's a very well-organised trip. No one ever, said Mum, intends to get eaten alive by ants. But accidents happen, especially in the Sahara Desert. What else have you got? Tenerife is already quite warm. Although it's politically part of Spain, the island of Tenerife is off the coast of Africa and is therefore hot all year round, especially in the south. It's more rainy in the north because of this big pointy mountain in the middle of the island. It's so tall it has snow on top, even in the summer. It's called Teide. Mum looked interested when I told her all this. I probably should have stopped there and not gone on to mention that Teide isn't just an ordinary mountain. A volcano, said Mum. An extinct volcano, said the woman from the travel agent very quickly. Extinct or dormant, said Mum, surprising everyone with her unexpected geological knowledge. What's the difference? Asked the travel agent lady. The difference, said Mum, between life and death. The travel agent woman held up a brochure for Florida. Very popular, she smiled without going into detail. Mum looked at me. I said nothing. She looked at the travel agent, who just kept smiling. She looked at Dad. He tried to keep smiling too, but she raised an eyebrow, and he just can't cope with that. In the end, he admitted, alligators. After that, there was Turkey, earthquakes, Cyprus, poisonous triggerfish, Italy, the mafia, and Greece, shipwrecks. Then, we were standing outside the shop with Mum taking a deep breath and saying, wow, I haven't even gone anywhere, and I'm already glad to be home. They decided to forget about the holiday and redecorate the kitchen instead. Okay, so that's the extract of the chapter that we're going to look at today. And what I want you to think about in our questions today, 4 questions. Okay, the first 3 are here, and it's a worksheet that you can complete or write in your books. So, firstly, they're talking a lot about social skills within here, and they feel that Liam needs to improve his social skills. But what are they talking about? What are social skills? Okay, you might need to ask someone about that. You might need to look it up, have a little look. But what do we mean by social skills? Question 2, then I want you to think about this difference between what they're calling visible friends and cyber friends. Okay, so think about visible friends and cyber friends. What do you think they mean by that? And number 3, why are Liam's parents concerned about him? So it's linked to these first 2 questions, okay? But what is concerning Liam's parents at the moment? Think about um, what he spends his time doing, where most of his friends are, okay? And that some of the challenges and difficulties that they're noticing. So what are they concerned? Why are they concerned about him at the moment? And then the fourth question, I want you to think about a slightly longer answer to this question. Okay, what do you think we learn about Liam's parents during the scene at the travel agents? So when they're looking for the different holidays, okay, there's always a bit of a problem, isn't there? They find an issue with it. What do we learn about them? And what can we tell about their character or their personality because of that? Okay, are they really outgoing people? Are they quite nervous? Do they get worried about things? Okay, so I want you to have a think about that, and I want you to give some evidence. So if you think that they um, are quite cautious or worried or nervous people, anxious people, then you need to give me some evidence to support that, okay? So really back your opinion up. Really looking forward to seeing these on Class Dojo, okay, and I'll post the rest of the chapter um, later. So, see you later on Class Dojo.